Every year, I see the same thing. Homeowners spend their spring building beautiful decks, fences, and outdoor furniture. They put a coat of finish on, and it looks fantastic. For a few weeks, everything is perfect. But then summer arrives, and it brings the heat, the rain, and the relentless sun. That beautiful finish starts to crack, peel, and fade away. All that hard work, it disappears right before your eyes. It's a problem that frustrates so many people, and it's a problem we need to solve by choosing the right protection from the very beginning. It's not just about looking good for a month, it's about making it last. The sun is the biggest culprit. Its ultraviolet rays are incredibly destructive to wood and the finishes that protect it. Think of it like a constant barrage, breaking down the chemical bonds that hold the finish together. Then you have the heat, which makes the wood expand. When it cools down at night, it contracts. This constant movement puts a huge amount of stress on any finish. And let's not forget the water. Rain, morning dew, and high humidity force moisture into the wood, causing it to swell. This cycle of expanding, contracting, getting wet and drying out is a recipe for failure. Many people think any old can of varnish will do the trick, but that's a big mistake. An interior finish is not built to handle this kind of abuse. It doesn't have the UV blockers or the flexibility needed to survive outside. Using the wrong product is like sending a soldier into battle without any armor. You're setting your project up to fail from day one. That's why we need to look at finishes that are specifically designed for the outdoors. We need to understand what they are, how they work, and which ones can actually stand up to the punishment of a long, hot summer. This isn't just about aesthetics either. When a finish fails, it leaves the bare wood exposed to the elements. That's when the real trouble starts. Unprotected wood will quickly start to rot, warp, and decay. What started as a cosmetic problem can turn into a serious structural issue. Your beautiful deck can become unsafe, and your expensive garden bench can fall apart. That's why I always say you have to build it right the first time. And a huge part of building it right is choosing the right finish to protect your investment for years to come. Talk is cheap. You can read the marketing claims on a can all day long, but the only way to know for sure what works is to put it to the test, a real-world test. I'm not interested in lab reports or theories. I want to see what happens when these finishes face the same sun and storms that your projects will. So we set up a showdown. We took some of the most common outdoor finishes you can buy and put them head-to-head to see which one would be the last one standing after a tough summer. This is about finding real answers for real homeowners. First up, we have our film-forming finishes. These are the ones that create a plastic-like layer on top of the wood. We tested a standard oil-based polyurethane, a classic choice known for its durability. Next to it, we put a water-based polyurethane, which is popular for its low odor and fast drying time. We also included a spar urethane. This one is specifically marketed for outdoor and marine use, so it should have extra UV blockers and flexibility. It's supposed to be the top dog of the polyurethane world, but we'll see about that. These finishes promise a hard, protective shell. Then we have the penetrating finishes. Unlike the film formers, these soak into the wood fibers to protect from within. For this category, we tested a traditional penetrating oil, often a mix of tung oil or linseed oil and mineral spirits. These are known for giving the wood a natural, rich look. We also included a modern hardwax oil. This is a hybrid product that penetrates like an oil but also has waxes that harden in the wood's pores to offer more surface protection. These finishes don't form a film, so they can't crack or peel like a polyurethane. Finally, we included a control subject, good old-fashioned exterior paint. We chose a high-quality, 100% acrylic latex paint designed for outdoor use. Paint offers the most UV protection because its pigments are opaque, completely blocking the sun from reaching the wood. It's a totally different approach. Instead of showing the wood grain, you're covering it completely for maximum defense. Each of these contenders represents a different strategy for protecting wood. Now, it was time to apply them correctly and let Mother Nature do her worst. To make this a fair fight, we had to make sure everything was exactly the same. We started with identical panels of cedar, a common wood used for outdoor projects like decks and fences. Every panel was cut from the same batch of lumber to ensure the wood itself was consistent. We then sanded each panel to the exact same grit. This is a critical step that people often skip. Proper sanding opens up the wood's pores and allows the finish to get a good, strong grip. If you don't prep the surface right, even the best finish in the world is going to fail. Application is everything. We followed the manufacturer's instructions on the can to the letter for each product, no shortcuts. For the polyurethanes and spar, urethane. That meant applying multiple thin coats and sanding lightly in between each one to ensure a smooth, strong film. For the penetrating oils, we wiped on a liberal coat, let it soak in, and then wiped off all the excess. Leaving excess oil on the surface creates a sticky, gummy mess that never dries properly. The paint was applied with a primer first, followed by 2 top coats for full coverage. Once all the panels were prepped and finished, we built a rack and placed them outside in my own backyard. We didn't hide them in the shade. We put them in a spot that got blasted by the sun all day long, from morning until evening. They were angled slightly, just like a deck surface. So, water wouldn't just sit there, but it would have to run off. They were exposed to everything summer had to throw at them: blistering heat waves, intense UV radiation, heavy thunderstorms, and muggy humidity. This wasn't a simulation. This was the real deal. We didn't just set them and forget them. Every single week, we went out and inspected each panel. We took pictures and made notes. We looked for any signs of failure, fading color, loss of gloss, cracking, peeling, flaking, and any signs of mold or mildew growing on the surface. We watched as the sun, heat, and water started to take their toll. This careful observation was key to understanding not just if a finish failed, but how and why it failed. The results started to become very clear, very quickly. After 3 months of brutal summer weather, the differences between the panels were, honestly, pretty shocking. Let's start with the biggest failures. The standard water-based polyurethane was the first to go. Within a month, it had developed a hazy, cloudy appearance. By the end of the summer, it was cracking and peeling off in large flakes, leaving the bare wood completely exposed. It simply wasn't built for the extreme expansion and contraction of outdoor wood. The oil-based polyurethane, which is usually tougher indoors, didn't do much better. It lasted a bit longer, but by the end, it was also brittle, yellowed, and had started to crack and peel away. The spar urethane put up a better fight, which we kind of expected. It's designed for this. For the first 2 months, it looked pretty good, holding its gloss and protecting the wood. However, in the final month, we started to see small cracks forming in the film. While it hadn't failed completely like the other polyurethanes, the signs of future failure were already there. This tells me that even with UV inhibitors, a hard film is going to struggle with the constant movement of the wood. It's a temporary solution that will require a lot of work to fix once it starts to go. Now for the penetrating finishes. The penetrating oil panel looked fantastic. It did lose some of its initial color and looked a bit dry by the end of the summer. But that was it. There was no cracking, no peeling, no flaking. The wood was still protected because the oil was inside the fibers. The finish had simply faded, not failed. The hardwax oil performed similarly. It held its color a little better than the straight penetrating oil, but it also just looked a bit thirsty. Again, no peeling or cracking. The protection was still there, deep inside the wood. And the winner for pure, outright durability? The exterior paint. It looked almost exactly the same as the day we put it on. The color was solid, and there was no sign of the sun breaking through. The opaque pigments in the paint provided a near-total UV block, which is why it held up so well. This is where the ultimate barrier against the sun. However, you completely lose the natural look of the wood. But if your #1 goal is the longest-lasting protection with the least amount of yearly work, a high-quality exterior paint is honestly tough to beat. The results of our test highlight a huge difference in philosophy between the two main types of finishes: film formers and penetrating oils. The film finishes, like all the polyurethanes we tested, work by creating a protective layer on top of the wood. Think of it as a clear plastic sheet that seals the wood from the outside world. This works great indoors where conditions are stable. But outdoors, that plastic sheet becomes a liability. As the wood expands and contracts with changes in temperature and humidity, the inflexible film can't stretch enough. Eventually, it cracks. Once a crack forms in a film finish, it's game over. Water gets underneath the film, and it can't get out. It gets trapped against the wood, which accelerates rot and decay. The sun's UV rays also attack the wood through that crack. Soon the film starts to lift and peel away from the wood surface, creating an ugly, flaky mess. And the worst part? Repairing a failed film finish is a nightmare. You have to scrape and sand off every last bit of the old peeling finish before you can even think about applying a new coat. It is incredibly labor-intensive. Penetrating oils work in a completely different way. They dive deep into the wood fibers, hardening within the wood itself to protect it from the inside out. They don't form a film on the surface. Because there is no surface film, there is nothing to crack or peel. As the wood expands and contracts, the oil moves with it. The finish doesn't fail, it just slowly fades over time as the sun's UV rays break down the oils at the very surface of the wood. This is a much more graceful way to age. The beauty of a penetrating finish is the maintenance. It's incredibly easy. When the wood starts to look a little dry or faded, what do? You just clean the surface and wipe on another light coat of oil. That's it. No scraping, no sanding, no stripping. You're just feeding the wood and refreshing the protection. While you might have to reapply a coat of oil more often, maybe once a year, the job takes a fraction of the time and effort compared to refinishing a peeling polyurethane. It's a trade-off between frequent, easy maintenance and infrequent, brutal maintenance. So, what's the verdict? What's the right finish for your outdoor project? The answer depends on your goals and how much work you're willing to do down the road. There is no single best finish for everyone. It's about choosing the right strategy for you. If you absolutely love the natural look of wood, and you don't mind doing a little bit of maintenance every year, a penetrating oil or a hardwax oil is your best bet. They provide good protection, they will never peel, and keeping them looking fresh is as simple as cleaning the wood and wiping on a new coat. If your number one priority is maximum protection and the least amount of yearly work, and you don't mind covering up the wood grain, then a high-quality exterior acrylic paint is the undisputed champion. It provides the best UV protection and will last for many years before needing any attention. Just remember that when it does eventually fail, you will have a lot of scraping and prep work to do before repainting. But for sheer longevity, paint is king. It's a great choice for things like fences, trim, or siding where durability is more important than showing off the wood. What about spar urethane? I would only use it on a project that is not in direct, relentless sun. Maybe a covered porch or outdoor furniture that you keep under a patio roof. It's more durable than standard polyurethanes, but our test shows it will still eventually crack and peel in a high-exposure area. Its main weakness is that it creates a film, and that film will eventually fail, creating a massive headache for you to fix. In my opinion, the easy maintenance of penetrating oils makes them a smarter choice for most decks and furniture that sit out in the open. Before you start your next outdoor build, think about the future. Don't just think about how it will look on day one. Think about how it will look in 1 year or 5 years. Are you the kind of person who will stay on top of yearly maintenance? If so, choose an oil finish. Do you want to do the job once and not think about it again for a long time? Then choose paint. Understanding the trade-offs between appearance, durability, and maintenance is the key to making it right. Choose wisely, and you'll have a project that not only looks great, but also stands the test of time.